Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Mental Health Warriors TV. And today I have my lovely and beautiful guest, Illse Steyn.
Thank you.
And we're going to have an amazing discussion, and it might be a roller coaster emotional one, so hold on to your seats. We'll be right back after the intro plays. And we're back. Welcome, Illse. I'm so happy to have you here with me today.
Thank you.
An emotional day for me. So I want to say God bless that you're here.
Thank you.
And we're going to be helping many with this story that Illse is going to share with us. I will give you a brief snapshot of how I know Illse, and then she's going to share a little bit about herself and spread lots of wisdom. So Illse and I met while I was doing some housekeeping, and she fell in love with my daughter Ashley and introduced her to her son Willem, and now they're a beautiful couple. So that's how I met this beautiful woman. She is a great soul. So Illse, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you've decided to come on the Mental Health Warriors with us today.
Well, I am a South African, came here 25 years ago, and my husband and I just wanted to be adventurous, and we came to start a future for our kids. But immigration is not to come to Canada or any other country, from any country, not just South Africa, but if you come from another country, it is hard. Culture shock, and you don't know people, you don't know anybody. You have to survive with each other and be each other's pillar of strength. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even, us women need other women to encourage us and things like that. And for a long time, I didn't have that. I had to cope by myself. So, by keeping strong for your kids, your husband, you tend to be not focusing on yourself, right?
Yes.
And it was very hard. I can tell you it was one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life. And I come from a very big family, 16 children. But that aside, we really, I try to focus on my belief in God. I am a Christian, and I'm not shy to say it to the world. But I also believe that every person has its own challenges. And there's a story behind every person. And my story is, in 2013, I just couldn't handle the stress. There was a lot of things that went wrong in our lives. With Willie lost a job, and he found another job, but everything tends to pile up. And then just in 2013, actually, 11/12/13, November the 12th, 2013, I wanted to commit suicide. And a lot of people doesn't know this, but it was a very it was a bad day, but also a good day for me, because that date is grained into my brain, and I will never forget that day, because that's where I really had to focus on myself.
Right.
Willie took me to the hospital, and I got help there, and the one nurse actually said, "Illse, you know, you are not going to survive anything if you don't look after yourself." And I had to think about that for a long time, because I've always put other people ahead of me.
Yeah.
And there's other people in life that can, or through your journey, that they go through the same things, right? And you don't really notice it, because you are so focused on what's wrong in your own life. And then it's like almost like a light switch that went on, and it's, you know, I've believed in God all this time, and why don't I confess it to myself? You know, you sometimes, no matter what belief you are, but no matter what you believe in, sometimes you are so focused just on that you forget sometimes that you have to focus on your inside, if you know what I mean. Your words sometimes comes out first, and you know what to say, but you don't really take it in yourself, in for heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we all have our off days, but if I can, with my story today, just help one person, I would be very, very glad, because I am also, I had a mini stroke just after that.
Yeah, you just shared that with me.
Yes,
I was very surprised.
And that actually was an eye opener, to sort of like step back,
right,
and focus on myself, and be thankful that God opened my eyes.
Yes.
And I started sharing, not just what I know, because book smart and knowing Bible verses and things like that is not just words.
Right.
You have to believe it in your core
and take it in.
Yeah. Because sometimes we are like I said, we are so wrapped up in this yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Like, we are so wrapped up in you know, the wisdom and courage words and verses and quotes. Be strong and be wise and all that we say it, but do we truly believe it?
You mean like taking action to it?
Take action.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I looked after myself. Yeah, I'm not maybe the healthiest person on earth, but I can tell you my faith and my strength is the most healthiest out there than what it's ever been.
Right. And so, speaking of faith, is when you were diagnosed with anything when you went into the hospital? Were you diagnosed with depression?
I was diagnosed with depression. You know, with depression in our culture, it was a no-no.
So there's a stigma.
Stigma.
Oh yeah.
And you know, you can't, they would think that you are mad. Like, you know, in our culture, thinks that it's a no. You can't be depressed because that is for the weak. You know, you especially a woman, but even men, like, you know, there's men that are depressed. There's children that are depressed. And, you know, I went through a lot. And Willie and I decided to start a pub, right?
Yeah.
And meeting all these lovely people. Like, honestly, that is truly where I focused on their story.
Oh yeah, you would hear a lot of stories at a pub.
You know, like, and see, you know what, my life has been so such a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I'm not perfect, right? And I know that I have a story to tell, but learning from other people, their story, and you tend to focus on your story and you see the similarities.
Yes.
You know, and you say, but you know, you're not alone.
Well, when I met you, I felt an instant connection. And at the time, I did not know that you had attempted suicide. I did not know that you had a mini stroke.
This is all new to you today.
Yeah.
Right?
And, but there's still that bond from you supporting me through my moments of mental illnesses, like my flare. I've had a flare up today, and I didn't even know if I was going to host this show with you because I was such a mess, crying and all that. And Adam used to always say to me, he says, oh, you know, cry away. There's lots of tears on this show. And I always think about that my strength sometimes is I don't want to be weak. I don't want to, my ego tells me I have to always be strong. Did you ever experience that?
You know what, in growing up as a South African,
yeah,
first, and then in a household where there was always just girls.
Mm-hmm.
There were 16 of us, and there's 13 girls and 3 boys. My mom always was the strong woman. She was a fierce, strong woman.
Yeah. And
I wanted to be like her, you know, and knowing that the stigma is there on, you can be depressed, you can go to the hospital and book yourself in to just to rest or to talk to people, to tell them to go and see a psychiatrist or a counselor for that matter. And heaven forbid to be on medication.
Oh, even more so.
More so. Very. And, you know, there was a lot that I had to learn from myself before you can truly go out and smile and be confident in yourself. So I'm just thinking of these words. You have to forget and forgive yourself for what you didn't know in the past, for what you know now.
Right.
I don't know if you I'm going to say it again. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know then, for what you know now. And that is such a strong statement. If you truly think of that, And for me, those words
Yeah.
was a lot. I went through abuse. I went through disappointment after disappointment. And my husband was there
Yeah.
all the way. And I'll tell you one thing, if you have a man behind you, you know, or a woman behind you, or a mom or a teacher or whoever
Yeah.
that supports you, man, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That is powerful. And hold on to that. Hold on to that. Because, you know, you can be so disappointed in some people.
Yeah.
I've been hurt by a lot of friends. Like I say, I don't have one true friend. I have many, because I still have that little bit of a barrier that I put there.
Yes.
Because I'm afraid to get hurt.
So because of all these traumas, you've lost trust in the ability to trust in some people.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, and so, you know, it's just a disappointment. Life is a disappointment, if you want to say that. But life is also joy and happiness, and it can be wonderful and precious, and you just have to allow yourself step by step. You can't climb the ladder, you know,
and reach the top
and
in
reach
one
the
night.
top in one night. You have to,
Although we would like to.
you have to really truly take one step at a time. And if you say, okay, today I'm going to work on courage.
Well, it's interesting you're talking about courage, because I want to gift you with this card that I have, and it's courage.
Oh, wonderful.
Right? It takes so much courage for us to come on to these shows. Like, I'm a nervous wreck every time I do these shows. But it's almost like when you sent me your message today, it came out of source. It had to have come out of source, you know, because you must share a little bit with, maybe not read the whole thing.
No, but I can share one thing. Like a friend of mine sent us today, and you know, I'll read the first two paragraphs. You know, like,
and I'm going to pull up what you sent, because
there are days when we feel like Peter, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just want to deny everything and everybody.
Yep, that hit home for me.
Yeah. So then there's days when we feel like Job. We just want to die and end the pain and suffering.
Yeah.
Those two that's what I wanted to do. I just didn't want to be there. And then we can feel like Solomon, Jonah, we can feel like Sarah, we can feel, there's times that we feel like a good Samaritan and we want to just do good.
Yeah.
But then, you know, we have to, it does not mean that we are strong or weak.
Right.
It means that we are just human, right? And we have our limits. And therefore, we need God's power to accomplish our daily purpose on earth. And you know, believe in God or your higher power. I believe that if you can focus on that, on your belief in your faith,
right,
it will take you on for the next day or the next step in life.
What do you think? Okay, so if you meet somebody, say somebody at the bar, okay, and they're sharing with you, oh my God, I'm having such a hard time mentally, emotionally, but they don't have faith. Okay, yeah. They don't have a faith or have no faith. What would you say to them? What would you share with them?
I just share that I I would say, I not gonna force my faith off on you, but I want to tell you that I believe in God.
Yeah.
And whether you believe or not, let me just say that if you need anything or any shoulder to cry on, remember I'm there for you. You just
So it's like you've taken the weight of needing a faith per se, or believe in God or whatever, but instead you're putting yourself out there that they can entrust in you.
Yes,
that's beautiful.
Not as a God. Don't take
no.
me.
I didn't get it that way.
Okay, but just as a fellow human being.
Yeah.
To say that I hurt with you.
Yeah.
Right. And just by sometimes I don't even say anything and I just give them a hug.
Yes.
And there's so many people that have come back to me and said, I needed that today, or thank you for your kind words, or I've never been so welcomed in my life. Like it, what? It just my heart actually breaks sometimes, if I can state it like that. My heart just blooms for those people, because we all, like I said, we all have hurt.
Yeah.
We all have disappointments. And if we just give the olive branch, just a hug or
a caress,
or just say, have the courage to reach out to other people. Because courage to me is to trust yourself. You have to look after yourself before you can look after other people.
Right.
And how many times have I heard that? So many times. And sometimes it doesn't even register with you. You have to trust yourself, and you have to have courage, to have love, to have joy, to have peace, anything in the world. You have to have the courage to lift yourself up, right?
So what I was experiencing today was a lot of like sense of emptiness and not wanting any connection to anything. Like I don't know if it's what's going on around in the world today, but it's almost like I just, whenever I hear really negative things like the shooting yesterday, okay, my heart was like, I feel like I have to put this wall around me to protect myself from the pain of others, because it's so intense. Because, I promote love and kindness and compassion. And it's like, I don't feel I'm reaching people. Right. And when I feel that way, that's when I lose everything for me. My mental health just kind of, it's almost like I'm crying inside and I'm reaching out for help, but I don't want the help. It's like rejecting any help.
But Annette, we have to realize that we are human beings.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be a human being.
We are human beings, and don't think for 1 minute that when I speak like this or give encouragement or try to give encouragement, that I don't feel like that. I mean, I have
days like that.
I have days like that.
Yeah.
And I constantly talk to myself to say, you know what? This is nonsense. I'm not going to feel like this. And then I reach out to maybe my Bible or a book.
Oh, you wanted to read us something from your
Yeah,
booklet
it's
about depression?
Yeah, it's just a Bible verse,
Right.
if I can read
Yes,
it.
please.
Okay, well, I this verse have helped me a lot.
Okay.
It's when your circumstances feel hopeless.
Okay.
Okay, and
That's how I'm feeling.
just take it with an open mind. This comes from Psalm 16, verse 8 to 9, and 11. It says, I know the Lord is always with me. I will not be shaken, for he is right beside me. No wonder my heart is glad, and I rejoice. My body rests in safety. You will know me the way of life. So you will know me the way of life, granting me the joy of your presence and the pleasures of living with you forever. So sometimes people don't really get this.
Yeah, I would like you to interpret that for me.
So what I'm going to say, it's, I know the Lord is always with me. Okay? For me, there's no question.
Right.
I know he's always with me. I will now. This is when David wrote the Psalms, and he was very, he's very depressed sometimes, and then sometimes he's very happy, and then when he says, I will not be shaken, for he is right beside me. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, I had to really think about that, because you growing up a Christian or in the church as a believer, sometimes we get to, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. You get to read your Bible passages. You get to read your little prayers that you have. And sometimes it's just words.
Yes.
Right?
Right. I'm experiencing that. Like I may not read Bible verses, but I read positive affirmations. I read cards and
now for
other
me
stuff.
Every single affirmation in cards or in other books or inspirational quotes or anything, I do believe whoever wrote that, you can find something similar from the Bible.
Oh yes, that I do agree.
And it comes from the Bible. People just interpreted or made it maybe easy to understand in layman's terms, just to make people understand it much better. Now, for me, to know that God is with me all the time, that shook me when I was
when you were in your
darker moments, because although I knew it, that was for the first time truly that when you are in your deepest, darkest moment, that you experience, I would say, an out-of-body experience, right? And you know that something happened to you on the inside. I don't know if you shared with me your story where when you sat on the beach, something came over you and something happened.
Oh, the time when I was in Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went to the beach and I went to the church, walking on my way. I was planning on committing suicide as well, and it was the realization that I kept looking for the right place to do it. That sounds crazy, but
yeah, no, I know.
And then I went to the church, and I looked down at the stones, and I kept asking for help, asking for God's guidance, whether or not I should take my life. Like, I didn't believe that suicide was a sin or anything, because I grew up with Sunday school, but I didn't remember much because of my traumas. Everything got wiped out. And then here I was looking at the rocks on the ground of the church, and there's Jesus's face. Now, people can say you hallucinated, they can claim whatever, but I know what I saw and I know what I felt. And I knew I was supposed to go back home. And I went back home.
And you came home was Canada?
No, I went home. It's very interesting what unfolded, because I went home back to where my family was in Argentina, like back to the house. But shortly thereafter, my mother passed. And that whole facilitation of, that started facilitating me returning to Canada, right? Because I was on a path of destruction that was going to kill me. And it was either by my hand or by the hand of another. And sharing that story with you, I felt safe sharing that story with you, because I too never realized how much stigma was around what I was going around, but it was my own self-inflicted stigma.
Oh, okay. But it becomes your own self stigma, inflicted stigma, if you want to say it, because you believe what other people have said to you, right? You or you've read, and you've gone to church. You knew there was a voice, or whatever you want to call it, that you knew it was wrong.
That's interesting.
I believe that, because for me, it was like, don't care, I'm gonna do it, and people just should stay out of my way.
Yeah.
And I was in that time, I did see a counselor, which I loved, and honestly, she was so good to me.
Yeah.
And I believe that she should have just stayed out of my way, right, at that time. But she spoke to Willie, and they concocted a way to put me into hospital. And for that, I will ever be thankful for.
Yeah.
Because if that didn't happen, I don't know where I would have been today, right? But I knew in my mind, I knew it's wrong.
So what was the I just want to interrupt, because there's something very important I want to ask you. What was where did you flip from keep people from getting in your way to accepting their help?
Okay.
Like, what happened?
I was crying. I couldn't stop crying. Yeah. And they put me in the hospital, and obviously sedated me, because I was just crying, and I just didn't know where I was at that time. Okay. Because it was a hard time for me. I think a lot of people are shocked today, because there is very few people that know this. Mm. But when I went to hospital, like I said, I met this nurse, and she was so kind. She was so kind to me, and her voice was the one that actually calmed me. She took me when I woke up, took me to go and have a shower, and afterwards she brushed my hair, and she sat and just her words was, I'm here for you. And if you're ready to talk, I will listen. And I actually shoved her away, like, just
So you
leave me
still
alone.
weren't ready to
I
accept
still
help.
wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And then they had to give me pill medication. And I said, no, I don't want the medication. And she said, you know, I know that at times it's hard for you now. But if you do take this, I promise you, you're going to feel better. And I don't know if it was her promise or just her words. Like, that made me take the medication. And I didn't say anything. I didn't speak to anybody or nothing for a few days. And it was like, just like God's voice came in my head. I don't know if it had to meant to be like that, but I experienced it that way.
Yeah.
Write something down, how you feel. That was the words. Write down what you feel. And I wrote, when I started writing,
Yeah.
everything just flew out of me, you know? And then at nighttime, when I read everything again, I would cry, and this nurse would just come by and say, you know what, I'm there for you. Not, are you okay? Or come talk to me or anything. Just, I'm there for you.
Yeah.
And one thing led to the other. And eventually I started talking because I've been reading what I wrote. And the counselor that I had at that time, she was saying, okay, well, if you want to share those feelings, you can. I will listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of people that will listen to you. We just have to trust. And like I said, trust is a big issue for me. I don't trust a lot of people. But with accepting their outreach, I started to talk, and I felt better and better and better. And I started writing. And when I started writing it, I just couldn't stop, right? I don't know. And I think if people can learn or just take time with people, don't rush people that are depressed.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and because I feel for me, it was that I'm here for you. I think that
You've said that to me many times.
Meant a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like forwarding that, like in the pub or people that I meet or whatever. I like to be there for people.
Yes.
If they want to, they should just that one thing. I'm there for you. It just means a lot.
I can imagine, because your place is always packed. You draw such wonderful energy from, like, your whole establishment is just so welcoming and warm.
Thank you.
And drawing from what you've been talking about, what you mentioned about always like being there for other people. How, like, my show is called The Power Hour of Self-Care, because I'm always talking about self-care. Like, for me, it's coloring every morning and journaling every morning and some other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Going on a mini vacation by myself, etc. So can you maybe share with me a little bit about what does self-care look to you besides helping others? Like, how did you find the balance between helping others but still helping yourself first? So what do you do for your own self-care?
Meditation is a big thing.
Okay.
For me, it's reading your Bible. For me,
Yeah.
Reading your encouragements or whatever, and take a certain time slots during the day. Like, even if it's in the morning, for me, it's 10 minutes, half an hour. It all depends,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how the word that I read, how God wants to put it on my heart, right? And then if you meditate on that and I ask God to help me interpret what I'm reading. And if you can I take time for that.
Okay.
Right? In the mornings and at night. Self-care sometimes is hard for me. Sometimes I think that I don't even deserve it. Right? But it's like a voice in me, just, Illse, you've been there, you've done it, you can do it. I constantly talk to myself.
Right.
And it's as if I encourage myself. And don't be ashamed if you are down in that day. Because like I said, we are human. You don't have to feel happy all the time. You don't have to feel joy every day. You don't have to. But if you believe in yourself, you believe in God, you believe in what you are doing and is right, I believe that I can go out and have the courage to be a strength for other people. So for me, I always, even if I don't go out, I always try and do my hair, put a little bit of makeup on, even if it's just lipstick. Yeah. Now, I grew up that my mom, she always told us, if your hair is good and you have earrings on. See, I have on, even as you will be, you look good. Yeah. You believe in yourself, and it will give you courage to face the day. Yeah. Now, for me, if I don't have earrings on, I feel not dressed. no matter how I look. Yeah. My earrings is always in, like, and I always keep a spare in my purse. That's so cute. that if I forget
or one breaks. God forbid, oh no.
So I always have that. No, self-care can mean different things for other people. Yeah. Now, that's what it means for me. To have a shower or bath in the morning, or wash if you have to. Yeah. But I shower in the morning, and sometimes I shower at night before I get into bed, because that's me.
They actually, who is it that I listen to a lot of spiritual teachers, and there's one teacher that says that you should shower every night before you go to sleep, because that sets your tone for your sleep.
Right. And I believe that. Yeah. I do. Because if you don't, you can't get to rest, because you get in your clean bed. Yeah. It's a whole different mindset when you've had a full day of activity and you need a closing routine, sort of like, and that's a healthy routine to have. And sometimes if you work, right, you smell like sweat, or you smell like, if you cook, you smell like the oil, or if you work in outside, you dust or anything like that. Now there's a lot of days that I'm too tired to go and have a shower at night, but at least I wash my face and spit and polish. I call it spit and polish. And then you just brush your hair, and just feel good for yourself to go out and just do your thing, you know?
Well, you know, it's so interesting. You mentioned about the earrings and the brushing of the hair and put a little makeup on. For me, actually, today, having this down, I guess I can call it a down day, and you talking all about courage and all these little things, they're hitting home for me, really, because I hate staying in these down modes. And yes, I'm only human, but I have this terrible mannerism for perfectionism, and I try to be absolutely perfect for everything. And letting go of that is difficult for me, right? The show has actually helped me focus on being there for others, because this show is about helping others with mental health issues. And I want to promote and inspire people with your story, my story, everyone that's on the Mental Health Warriors, like Adam and Dale and Carrie. We're all here trying so desperately to reach people that are struggling. And at times I'm struggling, and I need someone like you in my life. And we all need somebody like yourself in our lives. And
I need somebody.
And I'm here for you too.
Yeah.
And we're here for our children. So we have this common goal to be mentally well for our children. And I don't know where I was going with that, but
you said perfect. If we look at the word perfect, it's an effect that we have on ourselves. If we are going to be perfect, it's actually, we are lying to our subconscious mind to be right all the time, or to be perfect all the time. And then if you're going to do that all the time, it's going to build up, and then wow,
that's what's happened.
You are going to be really, really, it's going to be disappointment, because we disappoint ourselves, and that's the effect of being perfect.
Yeah.
That's going to be, what's the effect? The effect is going to be that you're going to crash.
Yeah. And my client yesterday, she says to me, I'm having some physical pain, so that's bringing me down. But I told her that, and she says, well, why are you here? And I'm like, out of a sense of obligation. She goes, you never have to come here out of a sense of obligation. And that just kind of gave me almost like what you're saying. I'm here for you. She was there for me. She didn't care if I had just started crying and left, because she's understanding. She was so compassionate.
We have to listen to our body. We have to listen to our mind, because if we're not feeling up to it to do something, sometimes we have to do it to feel better, to have that effect of positiveness on us. But sometimes if we have that trying to be perfect, and it almost have the negative effect on us, right?
Yeah, I think that's what's been happening to me.
And by just, it's hard, life is hard. Like I said, it's not sunshine and roses all the time.
And that leads into my question before we have to wrap things up here in a few minutes. But it's like, That's great advice. Like I was going to say, what kind of advice would you give to somebody from your experience, from going through what you went through? And like, what kind of piece of advice would you give to people about not worrying about all the stigma out there, and how to reach the point where you got from pushing everybody away to starting to accept people? What kind of advice can you give to somebody who's struggling like myself today, or even something worse, like they're in a worse place than I am? Like today I'm manageable, but
Okay. If people reach out to you and say, I'm there for you, take that it is an outreach, maybe God's voice, because God works in mysterious ways. He works through other people. He works through a lot of things, and you can take that and maybe share one thing with that person.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be your life story. Just say, I feel, I've been doing that. I feel like I'm just down today.
Yeah.
And that maybe just a tiny little mustard seed, like one sentence or one word will give you the encouragement to go on. I feel that we need to plant seeds wherever we go.
Yes. You've told me this before.
Because one word, one sentence, or just a hug or anything can mean so much to people. And I feel tonight people are alone with their thoughts when they go to bed, right? They go, I don't know if it's with you, but what happened through my whole day? And I might think of the words that you said, or I might think of the words or the hug that you said. And because that works with the positiveness, but yet we think of the negative first, because that's why we are sad and that's why we are depressed. Because at nighttime, where we have downtime, we think of what other people are thinking of us or said to us, our circumstances, right? Now, if I say these things, I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to myself too.
Right.
Because I sometimes fall in that pit as well.
Yeah.
Robert is saying, yes, it could be the smaller thing. Everything matters.
Yeah.
The smallest thing matters. I honestly believe that if you reach out, have the courage to say something to other people, to say, I love you, or I care, or I'll be there for you, or even just a smile, that's all I can say. I'm not a professional speaker. I'm not a don't get me wrong. I'm not a biblical scholar or anything like that, but I believe that God gives me the strength to talk to people, to help myself, to help others.
Yeah, and you share your wisdom directly from your heart.
I've got a big heart, and sometimes my blood is behind my eyes, and I cry so much because I love people. I really do, and I really, I'm a people's person, and I love people. But I can't love them nobody can love people if you don't love yourself.
Yes.
You have to really deep and find that one thing, even if it's just one thing that you love about yourself, and go from there and grow.
Yes. So Illse, we're almost coming to the end of the show, and I want to thank everyone, Robert and Adam, for showing up and watching, and for you being here. I'm so forever grateful because I really needed this more than anything. My time with you is always precious, and I'm grateful for it. And tell the viewers and everyone where your pub is so they can come visit you and get some of this beautiful Illse.
It's on the corner of Marcellus and Mapleton. It's called Steyn House. And if you come and you just visit with us, you come as a stranger, but you always leave as friends and family. Not friends, but family.
Yes.
The saying is you leave as a friend, but I believe that you leave as a family because we all are family.
Yes. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And well, I hope everyone enjoyed our chat today. I know I did. And thank you, Illse.
Thank you.
And I'm going to play our closing video. Let me find it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome. I am absolutely thrilled that you were here.
Thank you. Bye.